Yeah, no, I completely forgot to talk about Nintendo, didn't I? Fuck Nintendo. I don't think I've bought... Wait, did I? No, I haven't been buying any Nintendo Switch games because... Not drunk spending either. Okay, I bought a couple. But this was before Nintendo really started getting shitty. Time last played. Really? The last Switch game I played was like Sonic Mania? And that? Really? Wow, okay. Holy shit. Now, I do love my Switch. And I do think Nintendo's games are good. I mean, I wouldn't be playing Xenoblade right now if I thought their games were bad. What's your favorite? Oh my god. That's good. How do I download this? I'm gonna download it. That is so fucking with. That is so gonna fuck with the final audio file, by the way. No. Yeah, no, that's good. So, let's see. Let's just round them up real quick. Let's just, like, I'm gonna take a hot minute to do one of Ursula's quests. Because this could take a while. Me complaining. Let me just do that first. Okay, need earth and bit balls. So I guess you. It's not many. You, and then Ursula. Come on, where's Ursula? Where the fuck is she? Oh, there she is. She's grayed out. I guess more Earth Mastery would work. Give me a minute.
Yes.
1 and 2. Okay. We are Ursula's new groove. And we'll do what we can. Wait, what happened at the Game Awards? That Nintendo... Wait, did I miss something? Uh-oh. Nintendo Game Awards. Oh yeah, I guess Sephiroth. I don't really care. I didn't like Final Fantasy VII. Okay. I mean, Sephiroth, sure, to me, he's another Fire Emblem character, basically. But, you know, I'm happy for people who... I'm happy that there's another Square rep, I guess, in Smash. And I'd be more happy if Nintendo let people compete in Smash. Let's get started, boys. We got, immediately, Nintendo shut down the Smash... So first of all, 3D All-Stars, I've done my tirade on that. My multi-week tirade on that. That's not good. 3D All-Stars is not good. What's my thought on the Game Awards? I'll get to that. But 3D All-Stars bad. Fire Emblem bad. I'm not buying it. I might just stream a fan translation in an emulator on PC just to fuck with Nintendo because it's out. I'm not buying it. You can't even, like, I'm already paying $20 a year for NES games. Some of them were Japan only. So you bringing Fire Emblem here and then charging us extra for what? Translation? Fuck off. And then not letting us buy NES games anyways. Pretty fucking shady. Pretty shady, my dude. And then the whole cutoff point, not good. But then we get to Smash. The Smash scene is not great, but it's still a competitive sport. At this point, Smash really is a sport in and of itself. Esports are one thing, Smash alone is a whole ass sport where people compete one-on-one to see who's the best, to And a lot of people will basically push the limits of human capability with what can be done on a controller. It's really intense, and it's one of those games that pushed esports forward. It's just as important as League of Legends, as StarCraft, as Overwatch. It's one of the most important esports out there, and Nintendo, as it was revealed, for over a decade, has just said, for almost 2 decades now, has just said, no, Smash is not an esport. We think we know better than you. So we're going to release a Smash game that has no esport capabilities, that is not viable, and is not fun to watch. We think Smash is a party game, first and foremost, and an esport, not at all. And they want to shove that down your throat by saying, hey, these people who want to compete at the top level, we're just not going to let you do that. Hey, this mod that's keeping a game we're not selling alive, which, by the way, we could sell this game and give you rollback netcode anyways. We could just sell it to you. Just do that. We got the most talented developers in the world. We could just fucking put it in there. We could give you some extra characters like Sonic or Knuckles or fucking Snake. We could just do Brawl 2 or like a second Brawl and fix up all the issues like Project M did. But no, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to give you Ultimate, which has shitty netcode because we don't want people to play online competitively. And so because of the shit netcode, there's even a completely different meta for online play in Ultimate. Like Sonic is top tier. He's like S tier and for online play. And then he's like B tier in local play. It's so weird. But we're going to fuck over Melee because we don't want people to play it. We don't want people to do the online stuff. We're going to throw around a cease and desist for a mod that is, by the way, the cease and desist is dubiously legal. It's questionably legal that they can do that because it's not something that they created. I don't even think Slippy modifies Smash's game code. I think it works through a modified memory card, like a modified virtual memory card and modified Dolphin.
We've still got a long way to go.
I grow strong.
So that's cool. I'm gonna do Soul Lesson. I need to take a second. I'm just gonna do like 10 full minutes. Earth.
I like traveling.
I know.
Send me wherever you want.
Earth, Bitball. Bitball. Earth. I don't give a fuck.
I like traveling. Don't send me wherever you want.
Okay.
We are Ursula's New Groove. And we'll do what we can.
And because people wanted to play Melee a certain way, and Nintendo didn't like that people wanted to play it a certain way,
Have fun, chaps.
Nintendo said, oh, we're just gonna take our ball and leave, and nobody gets to play Melee or Ultimate competitively. We're just gonna shut it down. Then came the reveals about Project M. Project M was canceled by the developers who went on to work on another game that would replace Melee and Project M. I think it was Icons, and the game kind of sucked, but those developers who were continuously working on Project M stopped, not because Nintendo threw a cease and desist at them, because Nintendo asked nicely and said, we can't do competitive Smash tournaments, we can't support them if Project M is still being supported. So out of a good faith attempt to get on Nintendo's good side, the community just dropped it entirely. And Nintendo, it came out that basically for, 5 years now? 7 years now? God knows how long, Nintendo's just lied about Project M and about supporting the community. That's real fucked up. To just lie and get people's hopes up like that. To specifically to get people's hopes up and get them to, you know, celebrate a certain, and like get them to bend over backwards for you, only to reveal that you were never going to support them in the first place. That's real fucked up. So people aren't allowed to play Smash during a pandemic because Nintendo doesn't want you to. Project M took a really long time. Yeah, people are... You should go play Project Plus, by the way. It's a spiritual continuation of Project M. I know before the game stopped being developed, they were developing Knuckles as an original character. And Project Plus finally finished that character. In the vein of what was originally going to be done with the game. And there's further balancing tweaks and further optimizations. And it's actually really good. I got back into Smash, not because of Ultimate and like Minecraft Steve. Fuck that. I still don't like playing Ultimate. But I do like playing Project M. And I do like playing Melee online. It's a lot of fun. Even if I'm terrible at it. So there's that. And then, when people in the Splatoon community decided to say, hey, hashtag free Melee, Nintendo had said, no. Fuck you, we're shutting down Splatoon as well. Anybody who thinks they know better than us on our games gets nuked. That was bad enough. Nintendo didn't need to throw around any more bad PR. And what do they do, finally, to cap this all off? Actually, it's not even capped off yet. I completely forgot about this last point, but what do they do to completely... No wonder people in the Game Awards kept spamming free Melee. Yeah. So, Nintendo decided that... Okay, no, first of all, gotta set the stage a little bit for this scenario. The YouTuber named Etika had died about a year ago now. In celebration of him and in a remembrance of him, someone by the name of... It wasn't EJ Lennon. I forget who it was, but somebody... Was it EJ Lennon? I don't think it was. Somebody had created the quote-unquote Etikons, which was just a Joy-Con replacement shell. Meaning, it was just plastic. It was just plastic with a paint job they were selling. They weren't selling Joy-Cons. And it had the Etikons on it, and it had Joy-Con boys on it. The money, part of the proceeds that were going to go to the creator were going to go to charity, a mental health charity that could have saved Etika's life. Etika's legacy through all of this could have been, hey, he's going to do a good job helping people with mental health issues. That could have been his legacy. That could have been part of his, remembrance. That could have been what his community does for the world. And Nintendo spontaneously decided to shut it down. No, I know Desmond Amofa is his name. I'm talking about the guy selling the Joy-Cons. Nintendo decides to shut down this charity event in the name of a dead man. And not stopping there, they decide to randomly shut down Gilva Sunner's Nintendo Music again. Because of course they would. Why would they stop, right? Like, what the fuck? What kind of fucking ego do you have to make so many poor decisions time and time again and still believe you're in the right? Here's the thing. Whether or not Nintendo's in the right in a copyright sense to shut down the Joy-Cons, I don't know if they legally can shut down a charity event. I don't even know if that's entirely legal. I don't know if it's entirely legal to say you're going to support a thing and, you know, keep supporting that thing all the way up until the point where it's about to start, like with the Splatoon and Smash tournaments, only to then just shut them down. And this idea of Nintendo's ego came to me when I was watching Arlo's video on Paper Mario, The Origami King. Nintendo has this enormous ego. An ego so big, they would continue to make Paper Mario games that people don't want and don't like, despite the community and everybody constantly telling them, these are better designed decisions, you should be doing this, we want this, we will buy this, this will be more successful, and Nintendo just going, no, you're wrong, go fuck yourself, we're not selling you Thousand Year Door. It's that kind of ego that can allow a company, that can allow higher ups at a company to make decisions like, let's shut down charity in the name of a dead man, let's stop people from playing this beloved 20-year-old game in the middle of a pandemic when nobody has anything else to do anyways. Let's just destroy an entire sport and an entire community effort. And let's just, and while we're doing all of this, let's just destroy our own history. All the attempts at preserving our own history and the rest of the industry's history. Because they apparently know better than literally the rest of the entire world. They know better than every other company who's letting this stuff slide. Who looks at, you know, preservation efforts.
Let's go then.
Other companies will look at preservation efforts and even piracy at times and go, this is good for our sales and good for, it's just generally good for culture.
It'll be child's play. Let us rake in the assets. Everyone's counting on me. I gotta step it up.
Now I'm focusing the game again. So what Nintendo's knowingly doing is terrible. Terrible. For preserving the industry and culture. It's terrible for advertisement. It's terrible for everything that could benefit them.
Have fun, chaps.
And all of art. Could you imagine, like, right now, you and I don't know this, but right now, there are people who are like 30 or now in their 40s who grew up playing GoldenEye. And they've got this whole meme culture surrounding GoldenEye on the N64 that we'll never understand. Because we grew up in a world where GoldenEye was not being remade and not available to buy anywhere. We grew up in a time where games just sort of have like gyro aim and everything is multi-platform and everything works fantastically. There are people who grew up with games like Mortal Kombat being better on the Genesis thanks to censorship by Nintendo, where tons of, like, your average Streets of Rage wasn't available on a Nintendo console, where you couldn't buy a Sonic game on anything other than a Sega system. Every other company as well has taken major steps to preserve their history, to preserve their legacy. Even Konami takes steps to preserve the Castlevania series and the Metal Gear series. Fucking Konami is doing a better job at preserving their history than Nintendo. And Nintendo isn't even off the hook for a bunch of other stuff. Nintendo's not off the hook for microtransactions. They're not off the hook for predatory gambling schemes. Because of their mobile games. Mario Kart Tour is a shit game with a shit business practice that I will never support. The only reason I can say Nintendo is slightly better in some areas than other companies is because they don't abuse their employees. And you know what? They don't abuse their employees, but they sure as fuck abuse their customers. Far more than any other company is willing to go to. They'll abuse them way worse than EA will, or Activision. They'll abuse their own IPs worse than EA and worse than Konami. They have active contempt for their communities, it seems. Sure, it's almost conspiratorial of me, or like naive and childish of me to say like, oh no, they outright hate their communities because well, they're just a company. They want to make money. No company has, any sort of love for their community outside of monetary value. Nintendo doesn't even seem like they want to make money off of their community. It just seems like they want to fuck them over. And you know what? I'm fucking done. I'm completely done. The Nintendo Switch emulator is very close to ready to go. The Switch emulator, like there are multiple Switch emulators right now. There's a Switch emulator, 2 of them on PC, 1 of them on mobile. So if you have a really strong phone and a really powerful computer, you can just have the Switch experience. Like fully. You don't need a Switch to play Switch games at home or on the go. And you can pirate all of them. I hope the emulator will work for you. I've tested it out. It's slow on my hardware. But I'm getting a better CPU. So by the time I implement that CPU into my computer, I'm going to be ready to go to just never turn on my Switch again. If I really wanted to. And for as much as people say like, oh yeah, I wouldn't pirate Nintendo's games because I still want to support the developers. Even then, even if Nintendo doesn't outright abuse their developers, the money still goes to the stockholders and the CEOs. It's still your purchase of Mario Kart or Breath of the Wild 2 or Age of Calamity, the developers of those games is never going to see that purchase. That's all going straight to the top.
It is one kind.
Your purchase, and even then, your purchase of Melee or Mario Sunshine on GameCube, no Nintendo developer will ever see that at all. Because they can't. The money's not going to Nintendo to begin with.
Everyone's counting on me.
So it's at the point where staying moral compared to Nintendo, or staying moral with this shit.
Let's go then.
It's not possible. Your purchase of Nintendo's games really isn't gonna help any of the employees at Nintendo, and even then, your lack of purchase outside a single individual willing to groups of individuals willing to go the distance to not buy a game still isn't going to affect the sales when we know what sales are affected by. We know it's affected by a massive marketing push and general hype. It's not pushed by political bullshit. It's not affected by it. Because boycotts don't work. This is the sad reality. Boycotts don't work in today's day and age. Really already? Maybe not. And so, a decent replacement of boycotts would be, say it with me now, piracy. Piracy and emulation. Nintendo has been consistently piracy, or only company I can trust is Microsoft. I still wouldn't trust Microsoft. I don't like, well, I like what they're doing with the Series S and even the Series X to an extent, and what they're doing with bringing their exclusives to PC. That's great for, that's great for preservation. And it's great for giving consumers a decent, cheap option to play games. Microsoft still puts tons of microtransactions into their games and abuses their employees. They still do that. Also, fuck Windows. I hate Windows. I really hate using Windows 10. It's awful. It's a terrible operating system, and it spies on you. So Microsoft is selling yours and my data to the NSA. Even though I'm Canadian. That's cool. The only people I can trust in the games industry are indie devs, and even them, a lot of them, still have really questionable business practices. Like, I think even now, this was after, Notch sold Minecraft for like $1 billion, but even now, Notch has been up to some weird sex shit. I'm pretty certain. Even now, Bill Fish is really hated for being kind of a dick. Was Notch the one on the weird sex shit, or was he like posting alt-right shit? I don't know. Either one. Either way, indie devs are not immune to controversy. They're not immune to doing shitty things because they're small developers. They're less likely to do shitty things. They're also less likely to abuse their employees because they likely work in a co-op where, their buddies own a part of the business. So it's really hard to abuse your employees when your employee owns half of your business. So that's at least better. But I'm pretty sure even like Genshin Impact is made by a pretty small team, and that's a fucking gacha game. It's better on the predatory shit than other games, but it still has predatory shit. Even smaller teams like, I think League is run by a relatively small team. I could be wrong. But League's not great on the predatory shit. Like, the only solution to all of these problems is, first of all, pirate games. Just fucking pirate games. Crash the industry, teach them a fucking lesson. And top-down legislation. That's it. Nintendo is not going to stop their warpath until you legislate them into stopping. Because they clearly have a big enough ego to where they say, hey, we'll just destroy the industry because, we think we know better. EA wants to destroy the industry for money. Tons of indie devs and smaller developers will fall into the same trappings of big corporations the larger they get and the more they sell. And eventually, the games industry will collapse, because this is a house of cards. Stockholders and CEOs are growing at an unsustainable rate, and in modern day capitalism, if you're not growing more than if you're not growing like twice as much as you were fucking last year, you're failing, which is completely unsustainable, but that's how capitalism is, I guess. He has homophobia and was banned or unwelcome at the 10th annual Minecon Notch. Okay, so homophobia. Fantastic. Guess what? That homophobia was still there when Notch was an indie developer. That's even worse than what I thought it was, like some shitty fucking... Like, he grabbed the girl's pussy when he got rich. Like, that's worse. Even journalists in the industry will talk about how, like, it's totally justifiable for you know, games to go up in price. By the way, games are going to cost $100 a pop in Canada, at least. It could be like $105 after tax. I can't buy games if they're going to be $100 at minimum per game. That's fucked up. I can barely justify $90, but $100 I can't do at all. So when games are that price, I'm just gonna have to stop playing games entirely unless I want to pirate. Because I can't support a game developer when they're charging me too much fucking money and then also expect me to buy expansion passes and season passes and microtransactions and loot boxes on top of everything. Nobody will be able to. That kind of shit is going to crash the industry again. Because greedy-ass capitalists aren't going to learn their lesson unless you legislate the lesson into them. Okay, that's my spiel. Apparently I have to go. A little early, but apparently I gotta go eat food. I was also posting racial tweets as well. Oh, so Notch is just kind of... I was gonna say Vosh, no. Notch is just kind of a shitty person, cool. But I gotta go. That's my rant. I will be back with more Xenoblade in like... fucking... however many minutes. So I'm gonna just pause the recording here and BRB.